Good evening, Novos. Welcome to episode 70. 70 episodes.
70. Oi, oi.
So, welcome. Hi, Kenny. Hi, Nick. Hi, Damien. We
Even
are
though.
by Mike from Legion, but he's running a little bit late.
He's on a final debrief before the big off at the weekend. So we'll let him off for his tardiness.
Yeah.
Black spot on the register for Mr. Legion.
Hi, Fresh Meat. So to clarify, Andy, you're not able to make this weekend.
No, I'm not doing this weekend,
but
unfortunately.
Lance and I are going. We're going to be on Blue 4.
Oi.
Smashing the greens.
Smashing the green. No,
I believe Rage. Hi, Rage. Rage is going to be on the Op 4 team, green team.
Yep, I think Mr. Rage, Mr. Chief, and Mr. Marden will be. I think Nick's is not Nick Pratt, another Nick. Or is it Danny? The usual four-man team they've got, haven't they? I think they'll be the Barbarionios. So that's going to be cool. Nice to link up with them boys again. Say hello. And shoot some guns at each other.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Nick. Hi, John. John?
Oh, John.
After having ruined your name last week.
John was one of the first timers for MilSim event at the SEO one I just done. He was in my Charlie section.
Was he?
And he was absolutely banging, blinding. Really good for his first event as well. Him, Pasty, and Lewis or Woody, shall I say? They all three of them. It was their first MilSim event, and what an event to go into, really. They didn't choose an easier one. It was a hard op, and they done really, really well, all of them. So, yeah, very impressed.
How was the SEO event?
It was. Do you know what, mate? I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was hard. It was proper hard, but Terry at SEO.
Or a photo of you taking some notes.
Guys, take some notes. That was purely for the photograph. I didn't write fuck all down, really. No, I did. I did take some notes. It was just really well put together. Both sides. Some great players, some like seasoned players on both teams. Just smashed it all weekend. It was really good. You know what I mean? There was no griping really. There was, it was hardly any of that at all. It was fair play. Good strategies. There was good scenarios throughout. Gameplay unfolded nicely. Good contacts. Reactions to contacts and stuff like that. It just played out really, really well. It was quality. Good intel and briefings and that from Terry and his team for us, and obviously for Blue 4 as well. They've done their bits and bobs. Just some great scenarios drawn up. Long, really long. Went into the very early hours of the morning with very minimal rest, and then sort of back on it again for the big crescendo at the end. But so I look forward to another one of them. That was very, very, very entertaining, and the kit held up well. The kit was good.
Right, Giles, were you Op 4 at SEO?
I was indeed, sir. PMC, and incidentally, it was quite funny. It was almost like the Phoenix boys from Octo had secured a secondary contract with SEO. So it was quite funny. Start seeing a lot of familiar faces. Tom Dragar Airsoft and a few of the whiskey guys. They were all there. It's like, oh, hello. I see we're moonlighting. I hope Mr. Tim doesn't find out we've been moonlighting from Phoenix. So that was a bit of a running joke for the weekend. I was going to actually message Tim and say, yeah, sorry, mate, Terry at SEO pays more.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Look.
Hello.
I do apologise.
That's all right. Not a problem.
Welcome along, bud. Long time.
How you doing?
Yeah, all good. All good.
All good, mate. All good.
Yeah, you've been doing your final briefing, have you?
We have, yeah. Went over a little bit. So, final briefing for this weekend. So, are you, all good, all fun, all ready. So I will be home in a second. So, in fact, what I'll do actually, because I've got good signals, I'll pull over.
No, you're fair, mate. If you want to drop out and drop back in when you get home, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Cool.
I'll get home safe.
You get home safely, and then we'll talk in a bit.
Make a good TikTok, wouldn't
it? and there goes Mike.
Event's cancelled.
I'm just waiting for the whoop whoop.
Yeah, I'll be home in about 5 minutes top.
No worries,
so I'll jump on.
Right.
We're professionally Phil in the meantime.
That's it. Yeah.
Cheers,
do what you do, boys.
Speak to you in a bit, buddy.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Just waffle,
And
waffle,
so
waffle.
let's just confirm, ladies and gentlemen, Mike is coming on the show tonight. So
That would have been
Drop in,
hilarious
drop
if, in all fun, in all seriousness, it would have been hilarious if he got like arrested. We're all just sitting here
What
watching
live?
it unfold, just like,
Yeah.
so yeah, we've got some live comments. Oh, hi, yeah, the arresting officer, Nick asks.
yeah, question for the arresting officer: what pouch is that you've got there on your upper left of your jacket there, sir? Ends up with Mike sitting in the front in cuffs and 3 Rozzers sat behind him on the back seat answering questions. No, but yeah,
talking of which,
so
actually,
go on.
sorry, Nick says you're all prepped for the weekend.
Pretty much.
I'm not yet.
I'm. Are you not?
No, shock horror.
I'm shocked.
I printed my list
No,
off.
I'm not shocked, but the way you were talking last week, I was like, this guy's just a
Printed my
printed
list
his
off.
list off. That's all he's
got it
done.
highlighted, what I'm taking.
Very nice too.
The list, which is available on the website. You can
Very
download
nice.
that as the.
What
typical
website is
list.
that, Mike?
That is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk or lancelance.com.
There we go. You heard it here first, girls and boys.
We
Yeah, no,
also,
I'm pretty much
Sorry,
prepped.
just quickly while we're on that, we have some new discount codes going to be going up this weekend as well.
Ooh,
So,
yeah,
Yes.
lovely.
Exciting time, so
Indeed.
check that out.
Wonderful. Are we
So,
going to say any
carry
more
on
on that?
about SEO.
Oh yeah,
No.
so it was so it was a bit of a running joke for the whole PMC stuff. Oh, Andy's gone.
And he's gone.
I don't know where he's gone. Come back, Andy. Yeah, so it was a running joke of the PMC sort of pouring themselves out to the SEO events, and it was a running joke then of Terry Little pays more than Tim, so so we secured a new contract.
That would be
Yeah,
quite
it's
clever
quite
though if there was like a national UK PMC team that you could join.
Well, it's exactly
It's like
this is what we were
whenever
saying.
there's a PMC element, it's just always the same people.
Exactly, just bringing the PMC. Yeah, we was like UK wide, why?
Yeah.
Black leather gloves.
It's Yeah, I did a bit of time with Black Hawk PMC. Oh yeah, is that the private military contractors? Yeah. Oh, what sort of places did you see? Oh, Longmore,
Dog tag.
Sparta, Contact. Yeah. Oh, I lost some good people at Contact. Oh dear.
But yeah, all in all, mate, in a nutshell, it was a bloody good event. Really hard going. Loved the Dutch Army yoke or assault vest, if you like, Molly vest, which I bastardised onto my PLC webbing set. It was pucker comfy. I mean, it was stupid heavy rig, but I did that for a good reason, for the fizz, and also just to see how I got on with it from doing a bit more training and that now, being back at the gym and stuff. And yeah, really good. I mean, I was aching and stuff, but could have cracked on a bit more. Terry, Mr. Little was quite shocked at how heavy it was. He said, "Christ, I thought mine was heavy with real plates in it." He said, he said, "That's unbelievable. Have you carried on it all day with that on?" I was like, "Yeah, it's all good. It's all good." So, thoroughly enjoyable event, mate. So I look forward to another one of them very soon.
Cool.
Any purchases, bud? Where's Andy gone? This is annoying.
Andy's just dived off. He's just messaged me to say, "Can I add him back in?" But they won't allow me to, so I think he's going to be rejoining in a second.
Oh, good.
Fresh Meat says, "Come on, Mike, Lance and me have had to unpack from one event and pack for this, so you have no excuse." I know.
That's very true, actually, Fresh Meat. Yes. I didn't want to say anything, but
so
WTF.
To be fair, I was still unpacking from the last event and repacking for this one. So, yeah. Does that count?
Hang on. No, because the last event was
months ago.
2 months ago? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah. It's all just got dumped in the room and then I hadn't done anything with it. So I'm having to kind of clear that, sort that, before I can then get all that stuff back out again. And annoyingly, it's not compatible. I can't just take the packed stuff and just retake it.
Well,
Hey,
hello.
Minor issues.
Oh, what happened? What happened? Do tell.
Nothing. Ears wouldn't work. Camera wouldn't work. Mike could see me. Nothing was happening.
I couldn't see you. It was a little grey bot.
That sounds very similar. It sounds very similar to our Christmas episode, if I'm honest.
Yeah. It was saying, "Host can see you. He will add you at any moment." I'm like, "But he's not letting me in."
It's actually a coup. I've decided I didn't want to ruin the Lance and Mike show.
Oh. Bye then.
Yes, so packing. Yeah, I can't believe. Have you found any harrowing, horrid things that have rotted in your
No,
kit?
to be fair, so I did clear out last time my water bladder all my food and sort of everything like that. So it's all clean kit. Like I did all the washing and stuff, but it just got dumped in the room. I think I must have had like some relatives or something coming the next day. So I was just like, oh, just bang it all in there. And then I never got through it. I have annoyingly lost my toolkit though. So that's yeah. If anyone's got any really good ideas on how not to lose shit, that'd be really helpful for me, please.
An admin line. Just lanyard it to yourself.
Well, I can't have an admin line to everything, can I?
You should. No, you should.
just I can't move because it's just lanyard to everything I own.
You'd be like Data from the Goonies, just like deploying stuff.
Dr. Gadget Mike.
Oh my! Actually, on the subject of things, my pack arrived, my patrol pack arrived from Preppers UK.
Ooh.
The Dutch. I know this is comfy. I've not loaded it. Weight yet.
Discount code NoFo10.
Yep, I did use discount code NoFo10. So this is the Dutch Army patrol pack, very similar to the British Army one. These side pockets, I think, are ever so slightly smaller, but it's got a really cool waterproof layer on the inside. It's got really good treatment to it. It's got Alice Molly around the lid and top and bottom. So I reckon I could get some PLC utility pouches, like a couple along the bottom there if I needed to. Yeah, solid, wicked bit of kit. And there's the back of it. So the actual way the shoulder straps are made, actually going off at an angle rather than going straight up.
Does it smell good?
Does it smell good?
It smells. Oh, it's just pure surplus. That is surplus premium.
It has that smell, doesn't it?
Chest band, retaining strap, but I love them shoulder straps that go off at an angle, literally go across. I've never seen that before in a backpack. That sort of setup. So yeah, very happy with that. And for about 20 quid with my discount code, and that's including the delivery as well.
Yeah,
so yeah, Anvil TV. Oh yeah, it does smell good, mate. Yeah, it just. Oh, as soon as I open that cellophane wrapper and just. It's like opening fresh. You know when you open a jar of fresh coffee,
yeah,
and you break that seal, and I always do it. Me and the wife argue over who's going to do it. Like if there's a new batch of coffee been brought in, it's like that for me. I'm just like, oh.
We're gonna have to get in touch with like Dior or some sort of perfume or company and see if we can generate a MilSim.
I think
MilSim car freshener.
Like preppers and stuff like that deal in Preppers UK and shops like that deal in surplus kit. If they get any stuff in that's proper gash kit that's like beyond selling, then what you do is you just shred it and just put it in small little jiffy bags that you could just pop in your sock drawer. Some people put lavender in, like lavender sprigs of lavender in there. I reckon you should be able to jiffy up a few old shitty combat shirts and bang them in a little bag and in your drawer.
You from Prepper Shop Squadette.
Yeah. Oh.
Hi, Mike.
There we go.
Hello, mate.
He joined us on the very weird topic of shredding old stinky kit, putting it in potpourri bags, and then basically enjoying the aroma. So.
We're talking about surplus kit, Mike. I've just got my new Dutch Army patrol pack, and it's the smell of surplus.
It's got a distinct smell, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. Welcome back, mate. See you got home safely. That's nice to see.
Yeah, I nearly didn't, but we won't discuss that.
We do it once the clock's run out at the end of the show. We'll do that bit.
Yeah.
So you're all prepped, mate, for the weekend?
Yeah, pretty much. So we had the final sort of staff meeting tonight at our unit, and then we got a bit delayed because a couple of guys couldn't make it. So one of the guys got caught in traffic on the way back. So things happen, don't they? So just got to sort of adapt, and then got everything finalised. So planning's all done. It's just prepping all the monumental amounts of kit that we take to these fucking things.
Yeah, I can imagine. Anything new? Anything new on the agenda for this Welcome Back to MilSim Legion event?
Nothing new. Nothing new. Completely new. We've restructured how we organise the teams based on feedback from the previous events. To make the command and control of various elements of it more controlled, really. But one of the issues we have had in the past is like because we like the adventure. The storyline's got multiple arcs, so it can go multiple ways, and we kind of let the players decide which way it goes, which sort of path it takes. But sometimes airsofters can get a little bit carried away,
especially when they've not done it for a long time.
And it gets difficult. It's very hard to keep that storyline in the rough direction that you want it.
Just leave the gates on the fob, and it's like you're on a peacekeeping patrol, right? Okay, contact front, fucking.
Oh, there's bangs over there. Everyone off that way.
Yeah, I think Mike, you were at the Ripe event we did, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
So one of the issues we had at that event was there was a couple of Blue 4 guys that, Op 4 guys who pulled pistols out and shot Blue 4 in the back as they were patrolling past, and then put the pistols away. And one of the things we sort of try and remind the Op 4 guys of is every time the Blue 4 patrols go out, the sort of NATO patrols, whenever they come back, they file a patrol report and a pattern gets built. And what happened, I don't know if the same sort of thing happened. I think it was Gladius 1 or 3. I can't remember which one it was now. And a couple of these guys did the same sort of thing. They shot some of the patrols in the back and then sort of hid their guns. And all that happened was every time anyone went near a Blue 4 patrol, they just got shot because they'd been getting shot in the back every 5 minutes. So, it's a lot of it's that. A lot of command and controls we've done, obviously. We weren't going to do another Gladius because the sort of story had run its course. Obviously, we've altered the story based on current events because it was a little bit too close to the wire for what we'd sort of written in the past. So we adjusted sort of place names and some of the story and stuff like that. But we thought we'd do another Gladius. It's been by the time we run this event, it'll be 2.5 years since our last MilSim. So by the time this one runs.
Really?
So October, I think it was October 2019.
That was the wet one, wasn't it? Remember that?
Yeah.
Very wet.
Yeah.
Hell. That's flown, man. I can't believe that.
So you're thinking of Bramley, aren't you?
No, last one, Legion. That was a wet one as well.
Bramley one was wet. Yeah.
Yeah, when we were in the was it the
SF base?
SF base. That was it.
Literally right above the ops room, trying to get your head down. It's like, yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Who allocated these fucking rooms?
Yeah.
I want a word. I'll have a word with someone.
I think they were initially supposed to be QRF rooms, and then something got swapped, I think.
Yeah. Us muggins here, we got swapped and put into it. QRF must have been somewhere really nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a good event, though.
We've got a few questions coming in already. If anyone wants to ask Mike a question, whack it in the chat. If you could just put like a Q or a question in front of it, it makes it easier to see. Rage says, question for Mike. Is there a limit on how much pyro a team can bring?
Nope.
Nice.
Cool.
Easy.
That was easy.
Pyro out on the ground, or
bring as much pyro as you want. In terms of out on the ground, we just ask. We don't restrict how much pyro guys take, but what we don't want is we don't want you patrolling out with 200 fucking grenades in your rucksack. So keep it realistic. But yeah, bring as much as you want. The events are. You guys know we try and create we were discussing this earlier, if there was another technology to use other than airsoft, I said earlier to our guys that if we could afford to, and it was cost effective to do this with blank rounds rather than airsoft, we'd do it with blank because it would be even better. It's not really an airsoft game. We try and create more of an event rather than a game as such. So bring as much pyro as you want, but obviously it's not about running around just smashing the shit out of each other for 30 hours. That will come. It will happen.
There's a crescendo somewhere.
There will be some smashing. But yeah, it's not a start off balls to the wall and don't start for 30 hours. 90% of the players wouldn't be able to fucking hack it if we did.
No, I wouldn't.
Especially a 2.5 year hiatus from MilSim's
I'm
along.
not sure I'd be able to handle running it either if it was it's that intense.
Yeah,
End
nice,
up like being something from Starship Troopers, when it's just like piling people in.
Oh,
just
yeah.
keep going, just keep going, just keep going.
And then everyone I'll ask to be stood down at fucking 1 a.m.
Fucking eyeballs hanging out their heads.
Dan asks, you've designated buildings for Op4 for rest sleep. Will this be the same as a safe zone, i.e. out of play? ?
No, there is only sort of 2 designated safe areas in the event, basically. So everywhere will be in play, the whole event.
That's actually good to see. I saw that on the aerial map of the location. Mike, that there's actually nothing out of bounds really as such, apart from obviously the other training zones.
We've managed to get the whole site.
What
we do is where guys are asleep. One of the big issues we have at these events is guys don't, for some. Well, I know why, but guys don't like taking their rest. We allocate a rest period on the rota. So right, you guys are stood down for 3 hours. Get some sleep, and we'll wake up in 3 hours, and you'll be given a load of taskings. And they won't go to sleep because they think they're going to miss something. And then later on, it gets to like 1 o'clock, and they're like, "Can we be stood down because we're fucking exhausted?" So while the sleeping areas are in game zone, we're not about just fucking ragging people for the sake of ragging people. So
Hell Week.
yeah. I mean, the Op4, for example, Op4 areas. That's a civilian side. They're playing civilians. If they don't give Blue 4 a reason to search their house without giving too much away, then Blue 4 will have no reason to go in and search their house and raid their house. So, if you're sitting there on your front doorstep playing with your fucking AK as a patrol comes past,
Okay.
Guess what's going to happen the next time they come past?
I'll never forget the I think it was Gladius 3, maybe 4. No, it was 3, where we were in Fobstone, and the Op4 started coming over the walls. That was good. I'm hoping for that again. I really want to shoot some people off the walls. It was like something out of World War Z. So it was proper great.
Just kept on coming and coming.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there with my LMG, just literally shooting people off the walls as they're coming over. It's amazing.
I think do you remember Mike Watts and I forget the name of his team now, Raptor MilSim, I think they called themselves.
Yeah.
Those guys were in the hang on.
Oh, hang on.
Don't worry, Mike, we'll join you. There we go.
There we go. Those were in the Cop Alamo, and I think that was when we named. That was why we named it Alamo, was because they were in there getting absolutely smashed for about 2 hours. I think Op4 managed to capture the 5th blank firing 50 cal, and they were just fucking hammered them. And I sort of strolled in there towards the end of it when there was like 3 of them left, and one of them was just like screaming, "We're gonna overrun, broken arrow, bro," or some fucking bonkers shit.
Broken arrow.
That's not actually a thing people shout.
It's the worst bit. Saying that though, it's the worst when you're on comms or something and something really does kick off and you've got to start relaying information. I mean, I've done it before. I've been like, fuck, I don't know what to say. Here you go, you talk. I've completely cocked that
up. Nick says, is there a mag and BB limit taken out on patrol, etc.?
No, each team's got their own. There's BB limits on the rules when they join up. So if you go to the event rules, it tells you your ammo limits there. So you can have it in as many mags as you want. So it's, I think, 600 for riflemen, so 600 rounds. Mm-hmm. If you want 60 10-round mags, go for it. Yeah,
Just
mid-cap.
bristling.
Yeah. As long as you stick to the actual round count, that's all that sort of matters. And the reason we do that is we want teams to have to carry out relief in place. So if you get into a fight, an extended fight, and you start getting low on ammo, we want the QRF to have to come out and replace your position while you go back, rebomb, and then obviously swap back out again. So
will that be the crack mic then? With if you are on your limit of ammo, getting a QRF out to relieve your position whilst you go back, or could you have a grab? Could you have like a team grab bag back at the fob for the QRF to bring out to you for bombing up and then go back?
Yes to both. So we have in the past. We've said if you allocate a bag, we can get the QRF, and what we'll do is we won't let you bomb up in place. You're still going to have to rip out, and you're still going to have to pull out of the area and go through that process. But it might not be a case of going all the way back to the fob, depending on where you are. So
okay. So you could almost get an RV point to meet and bomb up and then go back in. Sort of.
That'll be briefed on depending on what sort of patrols you're doing at the time.
Cool. Sound.
Cool. Ryan says, with the new MilSims being more force on force, how will that change how it will run from the current Gladius ops?
What? Does he mean? Do you mean that the event we've got planned at Bramley? Does he mean that event?
Possibly.
Yeah, he must mean that. Sure. Yeah. So Gladius MilSim, we've got it's kind of the follow-on from the recce-based event that we did. So it's going to be a NATO versus someone else kind of conventional warfare, two sort of conventional armies meeting on the battlefield sort of thing. Battle lines drawn, defensive positions built, seeing who can gain the most ground over the weekend type thing. That event is that'll be massively different to Gladius because it'll be conventional warfare, it'll be force on force. It'll be a camouflaged army versus another camouflaged army. So it won't be civvies versus camos and that sort of thing.
You're sort of steering away from sort of the insurgency sort of type thing.
No, we just want to do an event like that. We just want to put one of those types of events on.
Nice.
We've got the Sartorius event as well, which is the police type one that we did. So that event, the first one we did for that, we built that event around the players having to actually sort of problem solve and figure out shit. So for example, we had one team did a 12-hour, I think it was a 12-hour, 8-hour surveillance. They put an OP in for 8 hours through the middle of the night from 1 a.m. till 9 in the morning. And during that OP, they were basically waiting for a dead drop. So a player came along, done a dead drop. We gave them some surveillance equipment, long-range surveillance equipment and stuff, and they managed to get pictures of the guy doing the dead drop.
Nice.
And then but it was foggy, so they couldn't see exactly who it was. Then they had to figure out who it was and piece together all the different bits of information, intelligence they gathered through surveillance and police operations for the weekend. Their main goal was to try and figure out who this particular crime lord was. And by the end of the event, they hadn't figured out who he was. So we've still got that to sort of try and sort of play out as well. So, but that's a sort of thinking type event as well. So I say the information gets gathered and then they've got to try and piece it together to figure out where they need to arrest, what raids they need to do. So on that, they had a HVT wall of guys they kept picking up pictures of guys that were involved in multiple different ambushes and things like that. So then they tried to figure out what house this particular dude was based in. And then once they figured out what house he was in, they requested approval to do a hard knock. So, which we obviously gave, and then they went and done a knock on the house to search for drugs and cash and stuff, and then fucked it up because
they're airsofters.
Whilst searching the house, I said to them, I can't remember who it was. They're good guys. They are good guys. But I said to the guys, search everything. When you get in there, search the house. Okay, just search the house. So okay, cool. They got in there. This particular house had one cupboard in it. In that cupboard was a massive bundle of drugs and cash, and they didn't fucking search the cupboard.
Was one of them just stood leaning against it? Yep, no one's coming through here. Got it. Don't worry, lads. Got this.
It was a proper like, fucking hell, guys.
You had one cupboard to search.
Yeah, it was literally that. I'm just gonna have to admit, I've got my phone's about to die battery. I'm just gonna grab a charger.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Massively prepared for tonight, as you can see.
Well, it's nice to see you've had a haircut, Mike, since the last interview we had when we had lockdown hairdos going on, didn't we?
Yeah, lockdown. I'm gonna leave this here. So back in 2 seconds.
No worries, mate.
Right. Interesting tour of the inside of Mike's house.
Yeah, lovely French doors there in the background.
Kenny says, "I hope Mike is more prepared for the op."
I'm sure he is. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying Mike is, but I'm sure all his staff are. Which is why Mike. This is probably the reason Mike has staff.
While we're waiting for Mike to come back, so Kenny suggested a £58 aftershave.
There's an option. There's an option. This could potentially be more science.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We've definitely got to see if we can somehow bottle the smell of.
We need to bottle essence odor surplus.
Oh. As long as it's not boots or socks or anything.
No, it's got to be. No, it's got to be like webbing. It's got to be that webbing day sack surplus smell. That's what we've got to try and harness into some
the ninja blender is going to get a scene too, isn't it? It's going to get absolutely wrecked.
Yeah, it's got to be harnessed into a potpourri or a squirt of perfume or something. Yeah.
Next question, Mike. Rage says, "I assume there isn't a pyro ban at night either."
Fuck no. What event? It was Gladius. It's Gladius 2. It was the first thing. You know the blank fire immortal we've got. Do you remember that? The big fucker. My sister-in-law is a cadet instructor, and we did a fire mission at 2 a.m. and it was the first time we'd used it at night. And I was on one side of the village, and Simon was firing it on the other side of the village. And he sort of radioed through to me. He was like, "Stand by." And when this thing went off, I was like, "Oh fuck, we might be in a bit of trouble." It was, and then he radioed me and he said, "Holy shit, this thing's so much louder!" Like, and then
ears are bleeding. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, the next day, my sister-in-law sent me a message saying, "Was that you fuckers waking us all up at 2 a.m.?"
How far away is she?
Say again.
How far away is she? Oh,
so I was the other side of the. I was about 400. I think it's 500 meters across his Longmore, I think. So I was probably 200, 300 meters away. And there, but I think she was staying in the mess. So she's an officer in the cadet force. So I think she was in the officers' mess, which is near the training area. So it's not too. I think it's a couple of hundred meters away from the training area. So it was. But yeah, there's no pyro ban. No pyro ban at night. We've had plenty of massive battles at Alamo with Pyro and Tracer whizzing around at night.
I remember there was one event we were just sort of stacked up waiting to be ready.
That was hilarious.
Outside the gate of the Alamo, and then just Mark 5 after Mark 5 was coming in. You came over at one point. It was, "Guys, you're mush at this point. Like, you just don't even wait for me."
That's when one of them landed in my dump pouch, wasn't it? That's when one of the Mark 5s landed in my dump pouch. I'm standing here in this hissing gut. Where the fuck? Look down, it's when boom. I was like, "Oh, fucking proper dead now."
That's one of the things we sort of do with the events is because it's not point scored. There's no winner or loser. We never declare a winner or a loser. Not like the battle sims. We never declare a winner or loser. There's no points. It's all about everyone's experience. So in situations like that, it's better for the event if we just say to you guys, "Go back to the fucking base, respawn before you get out." And, just we can get you back into the event and we can sort of push the battle along. But yeah, there's no pyro ban at night. No. I think we had, when we were looking at using Ripe, that had a pyro ban. Bramley's got, when our events at Bramley have got a pyro ban. 8, is it? It's 9 till 8 in the morning. No, 10 or 11 till 7 or 8 in the morning. I think that place is, which is a bit of a. Bramley's not so bad though, because it's a woodland environment. You can do some more sort of sneaking around type stuff at that point. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a great call for a vast amount of pyro at a woodland event myself. We just done the SEO one at Dog Tag, and there was a pyro ban from 8 till 8 there, 8 in the evening till 8 in the morning, and it didn't really affect things at all. I mean, I must admit, not when you come into a lot of built up area sort of thing, the odd Mark 5 wouldn't have gone amiss. Do you know what I mean? So that would have helped out a couple of times, but you work around it. It's no major issue really. No,
it's say urban is pyro's awesome. So yeah, woodland it's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe the odd smoke in that is in woodland. I can see that as a use for cover and that, but for Mark 5s and that, I don't really sling them through the woods at all. It's more like you say for buildings, or if there's a trench or an emplacement sort of position or something like that.
Yeah, I always fuck up a throw of a Mark 5 if I'm in a woodland area.
There's just too many trees.
Not even that. I just can't throw them very far.
Electrical tape. Bit of electrical tape on one end. It gives it enough little weight that it keeps the momentum going as you throw it.
Simon, on the other hand, is he used to paintball a long time ago. So he way before I knew him. He's fucking awesome at lobbing Mark 5s. If you're ever, so are you guys are all running Blue 4, aren't you? The weekend,
yeah.
So you won't be with him on Op 4 then. I'd say if you're with him on Op 4 the weekend, if anyone's watching,
well, we know it's him when the Mark 5s come slinging in over the walls.
If it's a really good one, I know who that was.
Yeah, but you've got about 10 tag rounds coming at you. Although maybe not now because they're kind of hard to get hold of now. But
yes, there's a few bits like the old Rust Camo Viper, the Rust Camo hoods, sniper hoods. Can't get hold of them anymore, so I'm lucky I got mine when I did.
Yeah,
a long time ago now. Yeah, that's a bit pants, isn't it?
Dan asks, can we decide to make our base in any of the houses in the village, or has it got to be one of the ones designated? So presumably Dan's on Op 4.
Yeah, you can sleep in any house. The reason we designated the houses with windows is because they do have heating in. So, and obviously given it's they're there, so we can use them. But by all means, you can sleep and fight out one of the other houses and just use the heated house to sort of go back to if you get a bit too fucking cold. It's not too much of an issue at all. So yeah, you can. We've already got 2 teams, I think, have requested to actually sleep in the fighting area of the village. So that's an option you'll have. So we prefer guys sort of mixed it up. So
Rage says they're bringing 100 tag rounds to the weekend.
Good.
So I'm going to start counting them down, Rage. That's the only way that we know you've run out.
Yeah. It's run out. Let's go. No, because after he's run out of tag rounds, he starts throwing Trangia stoves at you.
Nick asks, what's the medic rules, please?
It's normal, sort of basic medic rules. So bandages. Teams will be given bandages. You can apply everyone will be carrying their own dressing. You need to get someone to apply that to you. After that, it's a team medic. So on Blue 4, for example, once the guys end up, you guys will be issued a specific set of bandages for each team, depending on how many people you got in your call sign. Once those bandages start running dry, obviously you're going to be combat ineffective, so you're going to have to call for your support elements to rip you out. Op 4 will have the same sort of process, but they won't have a rip out process. So they'll just have their respawn point that they should sort of go through, which we will have key points. We will close off the thin battles out if we feel that it sort of we need to start moving on to something else.
Fair play. And I'm guessing it's just when you say standard, it's just first, second hit, bandage, third hits.
First hit, bandage. Yeah, so first hit, bandage, second hit, obviously bandage, third hit, you're going to be combat ineffective. You need to get stretched out. So for Blue 4 is obviously going to operate slightly differently. You guys are going to be able to set up aid points because of the way the site's set up. There's going to be various locations that you could use at specific times to casevac your team to. So it could be that Cop Alamo, for example, could be set up as an aid post, so you could extract back to there, and then from there you sort your kit out, etc., and then you eventually come back into the game a short while after. Whereas Op 4 is going to have, we've got a designated respawn area for them, which obviously they'll be made aware of on the which will be very obvious once you see it.
Big arrows.
Yeah. Big neon sign.
Yes,
yeah, it's not far off.
So just a question that I had, I wanted to ask you that's not just this event specific, but how do you as an event organizer sort of go about organizing one of these events? Because obviously there's quite a lot of little sort of like niche and sort of finesses that you have to do to kind of get it to where it gets to.
What you mean in terms of storyline, or just the actual general planning?
Just an event as a whole. So I mean, as an event organizer, you go, right, we're going to have an event on this date. How do you kind of put that together?
So in terms of dates, we literally just sort of decide. So obviously Simon's got his own business. He's got Sierra Alpha Supplies. I've got my security company and training company. So we just see what works for it. Simon does obviously reenacting as well. You guys have seen him at War and Peace, haven't you? I think you were there one year, I think.
Oh, I saw the two warriors down there.
Yeah. So it's literally a case of figuring out our schedules, see what sort of weekends we got free and stuff like that, and then we basically just fire an email. We basically get in touch with Landmark and say, right, we want to run some events on these dates, and then obviously we get approved for what dates we put in for, etc., and then it's just a case of planning the event, figure out what events we want to run, and then we just start planning it. So normally start off with a loose storyline. In terms of the storyline, I do what generally happens is I'll do the storyline, and then me and Si will get together and we'll sort of fine tune it basically. And in terms of the storyline, what I normally do is I just think about all the shit I've been involved in, or people I know have been involved in Iraq and Afghanistan. I go, that'd make a good fucking little thing.
They literally just took a question out of my mouth. I was going to say, are any of these echoes of your career, like in the forces, or?
Pretty much everything is a variation of something either I've experienced or guys I know have experienced. Most of it is pretty much that, wow. Because it's. And all that, you say wow there, but there's so much of this shit's happened to people I know and stuff like that. Obviously, but myself, I 2 deployments to Iraq and then Afghanistan, and that's actually quite minor service record these days. There's guys that have done 4, 5, 6 tours of Afghanistan. So there's a lot of combat experience amongst guys I know. And obviously we talk shit and we share stories and stuff, so most of it is pretty much some sort of take on things I've experienced. So but obviously that's just the base level of it, and then obviously it gets drilled down further. So give you an example. I think it was Gladius 2. We had the corrupt police force and all the dodgy dealings that they were having. That started off with my experience of the dodgy as fuck Iraqi police that held me at gunpoint once because they hadn't been paid their fucking wages. So that's where that idea was born from. So it was like, actually, how can we create that? And then it morphed into this Patrick and his boys into some mental crazy.
Was that the fucking police academy through the loudspeaker? All that shit going on. Oh man, it's so fucking annoying. Yeah, people trying to patrol it. We're literally like stagger formation going down the road, and then you got that fucking police car playing the police academy theme, like 2 foot behind you. You're like, oh god, this is.
But that started off based on that started off as my experience with the Iraqi police sort of thing when I was out in Iraq in 2004. So it started off as that, and then it sort of morphed basically. The attack on the Alamo that we had with Mike Watts's guys, that was based on a patrol base I was in We got just smashed non-stop for fucking weeks. Some of the other things, like obviously the IEDs and things like that, they're common knowledge. So that's mainly stuff that's that's sort of out there. But yeah, normally most of it starts off in its original form as some sort of real event that's happened. Say, not necessarily to me, but guys I know. And then we just sort of tweak it and tweak it and tweak it. And some shit's just not really compatible for airsoft.
No, obviously.
Or compatible for the entertainment. You know, some stuff's just difficult to transfer over to an entertainment point of view. If you know what I mean. So, but yeah, it all sort of starts off as that, and then when it comes to the actual event, once we've decided a sort of rough storyline, then just figuring out what kit we're going to take. If we need to bring any more kit, any pyro stuff we need to make up, or sort of get sorted, and then turn up and run the event. Basically, the biggest issue is getting people sorted into call signs, because we get all these people book on. If you get to say who they're with, we do an all bat, and then I get 20 or 30 messages. I'm not with my buddies. I'm like,
mostly from Lance, presumably.
Sorry about that, Mike.
Yeah.
You weren't going to bring that up, was I?
Yeah. Hang on a minute. And it's like the all bat's always loose, so it's always a really loose fluid all bat until like literally the day of the event. But yeah, the amount of, I mean, I find as well, sometimes guys overthink shit as well. Like the river crossing we did on close target at Bramley. Oh my fucking god, the drama we had over that. Like, I had messages from people telling me they couldn't swim and what safety messages. I was like,
dinghies.
It's knee high deep, man. It's like, it's not.
You're better off surprising them with it on the day, ain't you? Really?
Yeah, well, so we were in two minds about that. So part of us was like, well, okay, we spoiled the day, but then the other part of us was like, you know, airsoft kit's not generally compatible with going through water. So we need to sort of give them a heads up. So we gave everyone a heads up, and then we had one player, you know, she had a genuine concern about the water, and once I explained to her, look, it ain't gonna be that deep. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. There'll be plenty of us there. Blah blah blah. She was cool with it. She was fine. But then other people were just like, one guy sent me 3 messages just confirming how deep the water was. It's like, it's an airsoft event. I don't think it's a river crossing.
You never know. He might have been fab sealing his trousers up to a certain level.
No,
maybe he only had half a can left of Coney Johnson and these.
The biggest issue was, I don't mind people asking questions, you know, but I'd rather guys ask the questions than not ask questions. But the biggest issue was that some of these guys, they'd ask me a question, I'd give them the answer, and then someone on the Facebook group would come up with an assumption or a guess. I think this is going to happen, and then that was taken as gospel. And I think it's social media all over, isn't it?
I think
I heard rumor there's going to be a patrol boat.
I mean, it got to the point where I was like, man, these guys are going to be so let down by the fucking river crossing.
Even worse if it's dried up by the time the event kicks off.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was pretty deep in a couple of points. We had to follow a very specific path to walk through it. So me and Wooly, one of our guys, we done a final recce of it the night before just to double check the actual path, and some of it was proper deep. Like the sort of outer corners of the river where obviously there'd been a lot of erosion was yeah, it was massively deep. So we had a really specific path we had to walk. But
Bergen's is buoyancy aid and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, Rivergate, yeah. And then but everyone seemed to enjoy it in the end, so it's yeah, it's all right. You got to have a bit of drama.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be airsoft without drama, mate. It's got to be there.
Right, so David Underdown, question to all: how do you deal with the modern warfare brigade, i.e., them that run around like headless chickens, jumping up and down, etc., etc.?
I just tend to ignore them, sort of go the other way. Hopefully they bring all the heat onto them.
Yeah.
Cut around the flank then.
People
like the Call
don't
of Duty type players.
people don't run around jumping up and down, do they? Surely.
I certainly don't.
I've done it for like 30 seconds before and got tired.
Yeah.
When his ear gets shot.
Oh yeah. Mike got his earpiece shot out of his head once. He ran around a little bit. I never.
Mike, right. We were at an event. Lance managed to shoot. He shot the earpiece in my ear and literally sheared it off. I got the earpiece stuck in my ear. Everyone's fucking standing around just laughing at me. I'm like, I genuinely can't get this out of my ear. A perfectly normal pitch.
Yeah.
There was no high pitch squealing.
He shot me in the ear.
Anyway.
I got shot.
Okay,
The worst thing I had was I got shot square on the nose from about 2 foot away on a CQB night. And I legitimately had to go and sit down for 5 minutes and was like legitimately in tears. And then the next day I got back at 1 a.m. It was like a Wednesday night game. And next day woke up in bed and my wife rolled over and just burst out laughing because I had this massive welt right on the end of my nose. I was like, it really hurt.
It is the worst when it proper ring. Oh, that one's really stinging, but I've just got to hold it in.
Matt Beddoes, I don't know if you know Matt Beddoes. He was the marshal that night. It was one of the old ambush sites, and he was like, "You're right, Mike," and I was like, "Just go sit down for 5 minutes." He was like, "Are you sure you're all right?" I was like, Just, yeah.
Hyperventilated. Got bubbles.
I was like proper crying. I was like,
oh dear. In the nicest possible way, I wish I'd seen that.
Yeah. I wish I'd seen it.
Oh, dear. I think the worst one I ever had done to me was dragging our medic, Stuart. He got hit. It was night, so he had his red light on. Managed to drag him out, bandaged him up. Pulled him back behind me. He put his red light off. I'm stood about a foot in front of him. I've raised my M4, started putting some rounds down. He's raised his M4 and literally emptied an entire mid cap into the back of my elbow. His barrel's just there. And I've just gone, fuck! Because it was summer as well, so I had a short sleeve t-shirt on, so it was just bare skin, an entire mid cap, 120 rounds, went straight into the back of my. Oh, God, I could have killed him. If I could have seen him, I'd have killed him. Yeah, that was my most painful one. Claret everywhere.
Ray says, are you turning all the street lights off at night?
There aren't many street lights at Longmoor, and half of them don't work. So, no. There isn't actually a way to do that at that site, I don't believe. We've never been told of a way.
Rumour has it they're actually putting more powerful bulbs in there to make it more daytimey at night time.
They have done a load of work at Longmoor. So there's eventually going to be CCTV cameras in place and stuff, so they can record troop training and things like that there. I believe they have upgraded some of the lights, but I don't think they're all working. There's not many street lamps there, to be fair. But yeah, we've got no control over the lights. They're on it's like the heating system there. The heating system is on 24/7 there. It doesn't ever turn off. Same with the power. They're on. They're powered 24/7. We can't control them. Okay. Unfortunately, it would be nice to turn the whole town into darkness. We had that option at Ripe. Ripe, you've got that option. If anyone can ever get a fucking game at Ripe ever again.
I was going to say, when can we get one down there again? Because I really enjoyed that. It was that one day event we did down there. It was banging. And then
we my understanding from the conversations we had with the DIO and Landmark was that we were never actually supposed to have been approved to run an event there. It was kind of a bit of an admin error. And then when they looked into it further to approve us for the vetting for our next event, it was someone spotted, hang on a minute, these guys shouldn't be fucking using this site. I think the issue there is the back end of the site goes straight onto live ranges, and the front
that don't even bear thinking about.
Yeah, and the front end of the site goes straight into camp. So
no, it's even worse.
Yeah.
I think I've got to be on the range.
where you guys all parked your cars, that's actually inside Lid Camp. So when we went back there for a second recce, was it? I think we went back there for a second recce. I think it was, and there was a sergeant, serving sergeant major. I think he was the training safety manager or what, TSL, whatever they call them now. And he was saying to us, he goes, "Oh, you know, we've got the NAFI here, so if you guys want to have a break during the event, they can come and sit in NAFI." And I was like, "What?" And he goes,
Nah,
he
mate.
goes, "Yeah, they can come." I went, "Nah, that won't." He's like, "No, you sure? It's there." I went, "No."
That's going down well, wouldn't it?
I don't think you, I
Oh,
don't think
mate.
you understand the can of worms you're opening up by suggesting that.
Yeah. No. No.
Yeah. So I think I believe, and I say this is just from the conversations we had with Landmark and the DIO after our event, because we had an event scheduled there. We had a weekend event scheduled there. They were going to give us the burn cars. They were going to put cars out that we could set fire to in the streets. They were going to give us control over the lighting so we could turn the lights on and off. There was a really funky pyro timing for there, because there's obviously residential houses just opposite the village, and then we were the event we had planned there was awesome, because it's an awesome site, and then they sort of pulled the plug on it, and that's how we ended up back over at Longmoor for Gladius 1. So Gladius 1 was, I think it was like 2 months after cohort 2 was supposed to be run.
How have you found it now, Mike, since obviously, not that it's that COVID's gone away, because it most certainly hasn't, but have you found it easy to rebook like MOD sites and that now, sort of post-pandemic-ish, or is it still a ball ache for you?
It's the same in the Booker site, but there's more risk of losing it at the moment.
Really? Right.
Yeah, because or it seems like there's more risk of losing it. So there's obviously, you've got shit going on in Ukraine, so there's every possibility that we could lose one of these sites for some emergency troop training. You've then on top of that, so much now, but when we started the events back up last year, we were warned by the sort of TSM that, you know, there's a lot of military units that have done no training for 2 years, so or a year and a half. So you know, there is a potential for these training areas to get really, really busy for the next year or so. That we haven't had anything pulled yet, but obviously that's still potentially an issue. So I mean, the army work on their own. They got their own rules, like the guard room. So you go to the guard room at Longmoor, it's still a social distancing, one in, one out type thing on the signs there. So that's why it took us so long to get back. Although we could, you know, we were allowed to run our events, as far as the government was concerned. The MOD wouldn't let us have the sites, and the few sites that we went to try and run events on, things got really weird for that sort of stuff. It was like they all sort of pulled out last minute. So I think that the biggest risk is troop training, basically, because there's a sort of there's a massive delay in troop training. So
and I'm guessing there's no sort of like cut-off point as to when they can cancel on you. I mean, could they essentially do it on the Thursday afternoon before an event, or be like
they can cancel on us right up until the morning of the event? The MOD can, the military can. The only thing that changes is whether or not we can recoup financial losses, basically. So how close it gets cancelled depends on whether or not we can recoup, we can sort of claim a financial loss, basically. But they can cancel pretty much. Yes, it's the army's training there, isn't it? They can cancel it.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, it's, on that note, have we got any potential of any outside forces potentially patrolling through RAO during the event that we might not know about?
No. There might be something interesting happening on Sunday morning, but that's about it. Okay.
So with it being a MOD site, can you use like drones and stuff there, or do they limit that?
So Longmoor, we can use a drone there, but the height, the upper ceiling ridiculous. So it'd be pointless. Plus risk assessment for the drone usage on an MOD site. It's like Longmoor's so the UTC is so close to the actual camp that we just don't entertain it. We're like, nah, we can't do it. The MOD, they don't. We kind of are allowed to do it, but they don't. They made it clear they'd rather we didn't, basically. So, so the risk assessment for it, and I mean, you know, we'd have to check the footage because the camps are close. Other areas, it's not so much of an issue. Copial Down, for example, it's fuck all around Copial Down, so a drone there wouldn't be too much of an issue as long as I don't know what the we've had recce's and stuff for Copial Down, but we can never actually get squared away for an event there. I don't know if BritTac are backhanding someone or something, but it seems very difficult to get a bloody event there. They seem to have that locked down very well, so fair play to them. But so that site, I imagine there's probably no restriction on drone usage there because there's nothing around it. So, say Longmoor, they're not key. They don't say no, but they don't want us to use it. So
they don't want to see it flying about.
Yeah, see, and the ceiling that they've sort of hinted at is I think it's we can't use the drone any more than 25 meters. I think up or something. It was ridiculous. Whatever it was, I don't know anything about drones to be honest. So
that's not
whatever it was. It was
higher than eye level.
yeah.
Just go around and check the boots.
Hit the apex of the roof. The other issue as well is the couple of events I've been at where a drone's been used, people have shot at it. So that was the other thing as well, was like, well, if we have the drone, if we allow someone to have a drone up and it's a really low ceiling, there's a real risk of someone being able to shoot it. You know, and that's going to be super hard to police. So yeah, Longmoor we just say no. But I don't know about Bramley. I don't know if we'd allow it at Bramley. I don't know, because it does create another dynamic, but then it's like, on one hand, for me, part of me says, well, if you're using a drone, it should be able to be disabled somehow. We should allow players to shoot people's fucking £2,000 drone out of the sky. But there needs to be a way to disable that advantage, if you know what I mean. Because obviously, if we're trying to create a
really, it's more than 50 meters high, shouldn't have too much of a problem. Go 75 meters and just zoom in, you'll be all right, mate.
We funnily enough, we had this discussion on, was it last week's episode when we were doing our
we did discuss that
tech. And one of our regular listeners, Harry's, looking at potentially some sort of like laser system that you could attach to the bottom of a drone as like a receiver, so you could actually have some sort of like proper anti-air system.
So you can literally laser designate the drone with your launcher, and then it will send the drone operator. Then it'll get a warning saying your drone's been disabled, so like RTB for 20 minutes or something, which I thought would be quite a cool little element.
That would be cool. Tell him to come and speak to us at one of our events.
Yeah, once we've worked with him and we've patented it, that'd be great.
We've got the N-law, haven't we? So we rigged some charges.
Yeah. That's wicked.
So that'd be good. That'd be a good idea. If you could rig something like that with some charges and then a charge on the drone, so you had a visual representation of it being hit.
You need like a little smoke plume or something like that, rather than like a physical explosion.
You need a big bang. Big boom.
There's another question. Kenny says, "How come everyone has a beard, but the guy on the top, he means top left?" Yeah, I can't grow a fucking beard. Thanks, Kenny.
You can actually purchase clip-on ones. I'm going to get you one. You just hook it over your ears like specs.
I think I'm going to need one for these sorts of specials.
Ryan says, like ZZ Top now, won't we? At the end of it.
Ryan says, "Are there plans for a proper recce OP patrols for Gladius?"
If he means at this event coming up, you'll find out over the weekend. Consciously. Well, you know, there might be all 4 players listening.
Oh, there definitely are.
Yeah.
Who asked that? Who asked that?
Ryan.
Ryan, they're upset. Come on, Ryan.
Yeah, we in terms of going forward, we quite like the last recce event though we did. We had a lot of players. We had some guys. We scheduled a full-on recce event, and then we had guys complaining there wasn't enough fucking shooting at it. So it's the recce events are a little bit hit and miss for airsofters. We find guys are quite keen to do them until they get 20 minutes in, and then some guys get quite bored quite quickly.
They realise they don't get to view you.
You got to scale it down for airsoft, though, Mike. Isn't it? It's like the engagement distance is 500 meters in the real world. It's 50 meters in airsoft. Recce time's 12 hours to 45 minutes, and then we're bored by then.
You know what though? I tip my hat to Charlie Gaines and Billy Brooks's lot when we did. We did an 8-hour surveillance operation with those boys. We put them in an OP in the middle of the night in a ditch. We went out there under night vision in the ditch. And then the first light, we broke down the OP, we patrolled back in, and then we had a monstrous IED go off, taking out one of their agents they were supposed to be meeting. When I say monstrous IED, we were laughing about it just now. One of my staff said to me, I think you might have used a bit too much pyro in that one. And then they had to Kazivac Luke. He was screaming in agony.
Never been seen again.
Yeah, screaming in agony with his legs blown off. They stretched it, Kazivac'd him all the way back across, I think it was like 300 meters of woodland. And they did a good job. So
Charlie's told me that story before, and he said it was one of his best moments, sort of thing, was doing that, putting that OP in and that. Yeah. Nice little recce patrol. That's cool. Yeah. Definitely
it's good. Yeah. But the funny thing is as well, I don't know if someone might have admitted to this now. It's been so long I can't remember now, but at the time no one admitted to it. So whoever was on the other OP, I think it was Billy Brooks's boys, I was watching through the night vision, and suddenly I see this light glow up, and obviously someone was clearly smoking a cigarette in the OP, and I put it over the radio. I was like, "Who's smoking a cigarette?" I could see it from like 500 meters away. It disappeared.
No one. Yeah.
Silly giddy. Sorry, I'm late. Will there be vehicles?
We've not got many vehicles for this. We've got a police vehicle and a couple of other vehicles. We've had some issues with vehicles, so this will be a mainly foot-based op, this one.
Cool. So,
do you prefer having vehicles?
I ain't got to worry about getting a truck with webbing on them.
No.
Fucking getting out. You've got to do the salmon to get in and out of them. Yeah. The gun truck, one of the gun trucks is no longer with us. It's currently on its way to fight the good fight. Believe it or not, Simon. Oh,
sold
really?
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah, and the other one ended up so fucked over COVID. Oh, obviously, it broke. I don't know if you remember, we had an issue with it at the last event, and then COVID happened, and it was just sort of sitting there. They were never Legion's trucks, by the way. They were Simon's personal trucks for his reenactment stuff. So they were never Legion's actual vehicles.
Oh, fair enough.
So yeah, they have sort of gone on to pastures new. Those. So yeah.
Nice.
Patrick and the police force have got a car.
Have they got a loudspeaker? Or is that banned for this event?
They'll have there will be a quiet word with them about some of their activities.
Yeah, Predator soundtrack would be all right, but just not Police Academy again, please.
We were laughing about them. The meeting we just had. We were laughing because we've got one of the guys we've got working this event's not worked one of the MilSims for us before. And we were saying to him about the police force, and I don't know, you guys might not even be aware of this. So the first time we had them there, we kind of gave them free rein to do whatever they wanted as a police force, with obviously rules in place. We said, well, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, but apart from that, do what you want. And on the day one of the event, me and Simon were running. We had the van filled with Op4 sort of munitions and weapons. We were going to go and set up a weapons cache for the Op4 guys to pull them out and start creating a supply route. And whilst we were on our way there in the van, as DS, this fucking little police car pulled up in front of us, and they got out, put some cones down. They're like, "Nah, vehicle checkpoint. Where's your paperwork?" And what we always try and do, what we do is, if although we're DS and we're there for the event, we try and minimize the amount of time we pull out our little yellow vest things. So situation like that, we just go along with it. So we was like, we haven't got any papers. Come on, just let us through. Fuck off. And he was like, no. And they would not let us through. We ended up having to drive round to the police station where they took us inside. We had to pay 10 grand to fill out this fucking paperwork to get a vehicle permit to drive around the village for the rest of the event.
Getting reprimanded at your own event. Honestly.
Yeah. And then we had there was another incident. I think it was Sartorius. We were using my car, just an estate car, and we had that on site. We were driving that. We were running some weapons across site for. I think we were getting ready to set up an ambush, so we had some weapons in the back of the car, and then we had a load of pyro basically set up. And as we pulled out down the road to drive past the sort of main sergeant major's house, an incident happened, which meant we stopped the car and we waited. And as we were waiting, a couple of the Blue 4 players started coming up to our up to the vehicle, and I looked at Simon. I was like, "Fuck!" He says, "What?" I said, "I haven't got the parcel shelf in the back seat, and I haven't got tinted windows on the back either. So if they peer in the boot, they're going to see an RPG, load of explosives." So he's like, "Well, see if they notice it first. What should we do?" So we're like, obviously, we'll just go along with it. So yeah, they eventually noticed it, drew guns on us. We had to get out of the car. They fucking searched us. It took us 20 minutes just to get our own fucking kit back to carry on.
Oh dear.
You had a question, Andy?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, do you prefer having it vehicle based or foot based?
It's nice having the vehicles there. They do create headaches though for fucking safety, and they are a fucking nightmare. To be honest, we always have issues with guys getting hit as they're getting in and out of the vehicles, and they are a massive safety issue. It's nice having them there. It'd be if we could get rid of all the safety issues, I'd have 20 cars on site driving around at Civpop, non-stop. But it is a massive safety issue, especially once smoke grenades start getting thrown around, pyro starts getting launched, tag rounds as well. Tag rounds are relatively safe, but they can do some fucking damage if they get the right spot, in terms of dents and stuff. So yeah, we love having the vehicles there, but it's not a deal breaker for an event. To be honest.
No, definitely not. Has Simon secured new vehicles? Because obviously War and Peace is the revival's back on a top farm this year. So is he going to be there?
Yeah, they've got vehicles. Just not they're sort of other members of the teams, I believe. So
right.
I'm not involved in SARD, their SEAL team stuff, other than from when they first started, I sort of got involved in terms of some advice and shit like that, tactical point of view. But I don't get involved in their sort of planning of it or anything like that. So I'm not. I know they've got a buggy. They've got a buggy, and they've still got a couple of trucks. I think they've got a quad bike as well now.
Nice.
I think that might be it. I think they've got I think it's 2 trucks, a buggy, and a quad bike. I think is what they've got now.
I think we're hoping to get down to this year I'm certainly going, whether it's for a day or for a weekend for a bit of camping and the old party in the evening. But
I think
I'm going this year.
I think they are planning on hitting the events this year.
Well, that'd be good. Good to see him down there. So
yeah, I normally go down for the Friday. I normally go down just to piss up and see if I can find some cheap kit.
Yeah, exactly. First thing I go complete. I've already got some cash in my pocket. The first thing I'll do is go and find myself the best burger I can get in best nick, and then just systematically fill it up as around the site. So I've got my shopping bag on. Right, let's go now.
I'm not very good at digging out kit though. I get bored. I'm like I'll look for a bin of stuff, and I'm no, okay. If I don't find something pretty quickly, I get bored of looking.
Yeah.
Simon
nice. Needs to get to the end of each eye and have a little beer tent there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, another beer tent. Brilliant.
Yeah.
If you ever end up strolling, if you're after some bargains, you ever end up strolling around while Simon's strolling around, follow him, because that dude can fucking find anything. He
Really?
is. Oh my god, he's. If I ever need anything like off eBay and I'm struggling to find a good, I just say to him, mate, can you find me one of these? He's unreal. It's a supernatural talent he's got.
Me and Dan was walking around it was like the Second World War section. You got them few, like probably a dozen or so stalls that said all like the really old like 40s kit and bits and bobs. And there was a guy selling some really weird and wonderful stuff, and it was an old like butcher's cleaver and like a little set. And there was a sign there clearly. I think it says warning, very, very sharp, like this. And I was walking around there with Dan, and he's like, "God, look how old is he? No, it's not sharp." And he literally just run his thumb across it, and he went, "Ah, fucking claret!" It's like there's a sign there that says warning. This is really sharp, and you just fucking run your thumb down
Who
it.
was that?
Well, a mate of mine, Dan. Yeah, he's a
Dan.
liability. Yeah.
We had a guy. I can't remember what event it was. I think it was Close Target. He searched one of the guys, pulled out. I think it was Karambit, and he was like, "Be careful, that is sharp." He went, "Is it?" Put his thumb on it, sliced his thumb open. Do it,
idiot! It's like a wet paint sign, isn't it? That fucking.
You almost want to just say it's blunt, mate.
Yeah, proper blunt. That.
Put it back.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Right, we probably better do the last question. So Silly Gilly says, talking of drones, have there ever been issues with filming on an MOD site?
There has, not with our events. We've never had any major issues with it, to be honest. Well, it depends what you mean by issues. We've had issues with dickheads turning up, making bullshit up about our events and putting it all over YouTube. But there's never been any issues from an MOD point of view. When we were at Ripe,
I think he's pointing towards, is there any issues with, because it's an MOD site, like capturing footage of...
Yeah, no, at Ripe, they had to approve every photo. Anything that was taken had to be approved. But yeah, Longmore, they've got no issues. It's, I think with Longmore, there's been so many urban explorers that got in plastered videos all over YouTube at the site anyway. That just not.
Well, it's not like it's an undocumented site. I mean, it's all over the place, isn't it? Really, do you know what I mean? You can see.
I think
it's a training village.
Yeah, I think it was old. I think Longmore was actually old married quarters. I don't think it's. I'm sure it was at some point. It was an actual. It was married quarters on camp.
Really? Oh, so it wasn't. It wasn't a specifically built Fibula village then. It was actually quarters.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I mean, I might be wrong on that, but I'm sure it was. It was at some point a married quarters. It wasn't purposely built. It's not like same with Ripe as well. The part just outside the camp, that was married quarters as well, I believe.
Oh yeah, I learn something every day.
He extended it and added to it to turn it into what it is now. Same with, but I think Longmore, all the houses that are there are all former lived-in houses.
Dinora. Oh, nice one. And are they all fully renovated now? Because I remember the last Battleston I was there, they'd done a few of them, but
yes,
and obviously removed every ounce of cover from the sand fob that you could possibly ever get. Essentially a fishbowl now.
I believe every house is good to go inside now. So they've boarded every single house. They've plyboarded the walls, the floors.
Nice.
I miss the holes in the floors. I liked the holes in the floors. Be like, oh, let someone down there drop a pyro through the floor.
Funniest thing I had with one of those holes, those floorboards was it was remember old airborne airsoft events. And we were at one of those, and I was on the I can't remember what the name of the team was now. Vendetta, I think it was Vendetta. Yeah, I think it was Vendetta team. Yeah. And then we had the NATO guys were trying to capture me and Jay Gallop. We were HVTs, and they were fighting. They were trying to fight their way up into one of the upstairs floors. And I stepped back, and as I stepped back, my foot went through the floorboard, like all the way down to the knee. And I was like, fuck. And I pulled my foot out to see 5 guys from NATO just like looking up, going, what the fuck? And I was like, quick. I was like, "You all right, guys?" And then we quickly dropped a grenade through the hole and put a Bergen over the hole. But yeah, the houses are pretty good now. They were pretty dangerous, to be fair. I mean, half of them were getting to the point where we were having there was a couple of floors we had to cordon off, so we had to out of bounds a couple of the building upstairs. I don't know if you remember pre-COVID, the last couple of events we had there, we had to mine tape off the upstairs of 7 and 8 Jan Smuts, I think it was, if you remember that, the building next to the police station. We had to cordon off the upstairs of one of those floors because of the holes and the rot and that sort of shit. So it is better now. Plus, one thing that's not better is those shutters are too new. They're not stiff, so they flap about in the wind like fucking someone else. I think we might have complaints of people closing shutters this weekend if the wind picks up, because it just looks like people are slamming shutters closed and then reopening them to shoot. It's not. It's just the fucking wind bashing them around.
Nice. I think I did come a cropper with one of the acros that was holding up the roof at one of the battle sims I went to. Was it last year or this year? Flying around the corner into a room, went bang with my shoulder. I was like, "Oh, nobody move a fucking muscle."
Yeah, they've changed a lot. So the acros they had over in the defence house. There used to be the defence house surrounded in razor wire.
That's the one, yeah.
Floor, yeah. So that's all been removed. That's now a fightable house. We can go through that however we want. It used to be previously out of bounds. Well, I mean, they used to let us use it on the MilSims because it was a lot more controlled, but it was always out of bounds in the battle sims. But now it's just the same as any of the other houses. Apart from the beams are probably a little bit weaker.
One of the door frames are any better now. I remember one fine gentleman went running headlong through an open door and literally took the door frame with him, where his shoulders were that.
They're all steel picket frames now with metal door. Every building, from an organisation point of view, it's a pain in the ass because each building now has its own lockable door, and the army, being the army, decided to give each fucking house its own key. So, yeah, the amount of keys we've got to sign out when we turn up is ridiculous.
Oh, for God's sake.
You have to go around and unlock every single house. Then you've got to go around and unlock every single shutter. So, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, to be honest. But it does make it better. The houses are a lot cleaner. It also, the other downside to that is we've got to actually physically clean to quite a high standard every single house in the village now. So whereas before the fighting houses, they were happy for us to not sweep them. Now we've got to sweep every single house out. So it takes hours. It takes hours and hours of cleaning.
Bloody Nora.
Is it bio bees now on MOD sites, or are you still normal?
We are. Yeah, it will be switching to bio BBs. 100% at some point, probably in the next year. We prefer bios, but there's no stipulation in our contract yet for it to be that.
Yeah, I made the switch early last year to only using bios now. So
yeah, it makes sense, to be honest.
I think so, mate. Yeah, if however long it takes for them to break down, and essentially is they'll still break down. So
yeah.
Which is the main
I mean,
thing.
otherwise airsofters are literally just throwing plastic across the round, aren't we? So
that's it. Yeah, it's all well and good banging the drum to clean the seas, but if you go and slinging plastic balls across the woodland, it's sort of counterproductive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thanks ever so much for coming on.
I'd argue that most trainers have got far more worse things on them than fucking...
I was going to say, yeah. Murphy Lance's packet of 6mm plastic balls are going to have much of an adverse effect compared to what's out there, buried and forgotten.
So, thanks ever so much for coming on, Mike. It's always a pleasure to have you. We're just conscious of the times, but we should probably call it a draw. In terms of next week, Andy, do you want to introduce our guest for next week?
Yes. No one guessed it, but we've got Chris from Vortex coming in next week. Hence the hints in the background. If you hadn't noticed. But yeah, so he'll be coming on and just having a chat. So if you've got any questions, make sure you send them over to us, and we can pass those on to him.
Is that Vortex Optics?
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got their red dot. That's like I can't remember the name of it now. Really
Crossfire.
good.
Crossfire or Spark?
Might be. I don't know. It's the one that's like the aim point, similar sort of shape to the aim point.
That's what I want to get hold of an aim point. If you know anyone.
Yeah, that's a.
It's not the short one, the longer one.
Oh right.
That's the Spark.
That's the Spark. No, that's the Crossfire.
Oh yeah, it might be the Spark.
Crossfire too.
Slightly longer.
Yeah. I would show you, but I'm not allowed.
No, we're not allowed to touch the guns.
You're not allowed to touch.
Don't touch the guns. You can look, but do not touch.
Oh. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so on our email at nofochat@hotmail.com. Instagram is at November_Foxtrot_NoFo, or you can get in touch with us on our website, which is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. So we'll have some more exciting rewards, discount codes coming onto the website soon. There's also loads of new reviews that are going up there. So if you haven't been on a little while, we've changed it around. The mobile version is now a little bit more user friendly as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go check it out. In the meantime, yeah, Mike, again, thank you ever so much for having you.
Top man, cheers, Mike.
Cheers, Mike.
Pleasure. Strike fire. That's what we got. A strike fire.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Next week, I'm hoping Chris is going to bring some of his because I think from my understanding, they've got a bit of a trophy shelf of stuff that they've had destroyed in the past.
Yeah,
because obviously with their warranty, so I'm hoping we get to see some interesting things there. That should be good.
We were well impressed with the strike fire spinner. They're a really good biscuit.
Yeah,
nice. Like a
cool.
full shopping spree coming on.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Awesome. Right. Say goodbye, everyone.
Right, everyone.
Cheerio.
And we'll see you all soon next week. Ciao.
Oh, tosser. Absolute tosser. Yeah.